So now it's time to take a look at the actual packaging for the Chromatic itself, and as you can see, it's really nicely done and really bright. They've made it look like an old school notebook really, with drawings on it, so to really give you that sort of old 1980s or 90s school feeling, really, because I do associate my Game Boy with school. I do remember it's the very first time I actually set eyes on a Game Boy. Someone at school had one and they let me play it briefly before school began, I think, and I knew I had to have one from that moment. But anyway, yeah, so the box is really nice. If I flip it over, so you can see it says the ultimate cartridge-based handheld system, and whether or not that's true will depend on what you want to use it for, really, because I'll get to that in a minute. But you can see the other colours, well, all the colours here. There's Midnight, Bubblegum, Wave, Leaf, what's that called? Volt, Inferno, and Retail Exclusives. That's a GameSpot exclusive. And there was one more, which was a partnership with Logan Paul, who is a celebrity that I don't really like, but I didn't buy his version, so it doesn't really matter. Features, you can see it says enjoy a library of newly created games on Chromatic cartridges, as well as remastered versions of your favourite classics. Compatible with original Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridge games. For the first time ever, see your classic games with pixel level accuracy on Chromatic's custom Sunlight readable display. Sapphire crystal display cover, the most scratch-proof display possible. Magnesium alloy shell, crush-proof and hard-wearing, designed to last forever. Video out over USB directly from Chromatic. Record your play or live stream. Challenge friends face-to-face using link cable. Powered by AA batteries or rechargeable pack. Protected from planned obsolescence. So yeah, at the moment that rechargeable pack that they talk about here isn't available. That's something that they're promising they will sell later. I don't know how expensive it's going to be, but you don't really need it if you've got Eneloops like I have plenty of. So I'll probably just use those. Yeah, but it's nice that they let you use conventional batteries and you're not forced to have a unremovable battery pack. And as you can see, it's bundled with a new version of Tetris, Chromatic Tetris. Let's see if there's anything else. No, that's it really. So let's flip it back over, and I have actually taken the seal off, but I haven't opened this yet. So let's flip it open, and as you can see, I went for the Wave colour scheme. Yeah, so the artwork and the theme continues on the inside. Really nicely done, with a sort of magnetic flap that just holds it in place when it's not inside. So now let's just take the Game Boy, or the Chromatic rather, out, and there are the 3 batteries that they give you. I don't think these are rechargeable, which I think is a bit of a missed opportunity. In fact, I might just leave them in there, and I'm going to come back in a minute with my own batteries. The screen is a bit too bright to pick it up very well on this video, but I am going to do a proper recorded footage of this. But anyway, I just wanted to show off what the actual console looks like, so I'll turn it back off for now, and let's just take a better look. So you can see there's the sort of sapphire coated screen that they were talking about. And it's got nice, quite clicky buttons from what I hear. All the standard Game Boy buttons. Little accent bit of colour. It's got the link cable ports there. It's got the volume dial. I'm not sure what that button there is actually. Maybe reset or something. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. On the back you can see there's the special version of Tetris it comes with, which is just like a traditional Game Boy cartridge, and it will still work in a normal Game Boy and Game Boy player and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it for now really. There's USB-C on the bottom and the speaker, and a 3.5 inch jack, and then on the back, as you saw, that's where I put the batteries. So now that'll be the end of my sort of initial look just at the packaging and the console itself. I'm now going to go away and spend some time playing Tetris, and come back with my review of that, which will also be part of this first video. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so having looked at the console itself and the packaging, the only thing left to do is to look at the game that came packed in with it, which is another version of Tetris. So the Tetris is pretty much synonymous with the original Game Boy, so packing a version in was a pretty smart thing to do, and they've managed to get the official license from Alexei Pajitnov and Hank Rogers and the Tetris company, so it's all above board, and yeah, with their approval, which is nice to see. Of course, part of the reason that's possible is because the sort of mastermind behind this Chromatic console is Palmer Luckey, who was also behind the original version of the Oculus Rift VR headset. He's something of a multi-millionaire inventor, and apparently in his youth he had a passion for modding Game Boys, improving the screen and everything, and now he's sort of turned that into this business enterprise of making these really sort of high-end modernised Game Boys that only really play Game Boy games, but do it really well and sort of look and feel the best that they possibly could. So yeah, this is a decent version of Tetris, I would say, but it's fairly no frills. It has more modes than classic Game Boy Tetris, but then given how many years have gone by and how many other versions of Tetris there's been in the meantime, that's the least you would hope for really, is that they would add some new stuff to it. But in my opinion, they haven't quite gone far enough, because although this is a really solid and well-playing version of Tetris, it's not as particularly sexy, and there have been more interesting versions of the game coming out in the last 10 years or so. There's been Tetris Effect, and its expanded version, Tetris Effect Connected, which combine a sort of techno music and neon visuals of something like Rez, but with Tetris, and that was a big VR game. And then there's been Tetris 99, that's the other sort of really big significant evolution of Tetris that I would say, which of course turned Tetris into a 99 player battle royale, which works really well, is still going strong on the Switch to this day. So in comparison to those, this really doesn't bring much new to the table. The amount of options are fairly comprehensive. If you're a purist and you just want it to play how you remember Game Boy Tetris playing, you can switch it to retro mode, which turns stuff like next piece and hold off and T-spinning, all the sort of modern improvements or changes that they've made to Tetris over the intervening years. But if you don't mind having that stuff on, you can set it to modern mode instead, which I'm playing here. And yeah, there's 4 modes if I can remember them right. There's marathon, sprint. Let me see if I can get to a part of the video actually where that menu does come up and we can have a look at the different modes, because I can fast forward and there we go. So we've got marathon and ultra. Marathon, ultra, sprint and endless. So marathon, I'm not sure what the difference is between some of these modes actually. Sprint is obviously trying to get to a certain number of lines as fast as you can. So I think this is ultra mode, isn't it, with the clock? Let's have a look. Which one was the clock icon? Ultra. So ultra is you're given a definitive time, which in this case it's 3 minutes, and then you've just got to score as many points as you can. But it's marathon and endless that I'm a bit uncertain what the difference is, because endless is fairly self-explanatory. You just keep going for as long as you can without an ending, and the game gets faster and faster. But as far as I can tell, marathon does the same thing. So I'd have to actually look up what the difference is between those. But anyway, you get 4 modes, and then modern or retro. It took me a while to find out how to access the options and change the background music, because for a while I thought the version of the classic theme was the only music in here, but eventually I did find the options. Here we go. So you can see in here I've switched it to retro. Let me just pause this so it doesn't move on. And then you've got music, and you've got the other stuff, like you can see by selecting retro here, it's automatically turned off hold, T-spin and bag system. What bag system means, I didn't really know this myself until I watched the Tetris documentary on Tetris Forever, but it imagines that all the 7 pieces are put in a bag, and then they're pulled out one by one until all 7 pieces are used, and then basically the bag is refilled and shuffled again. So every 7 pieces, you're guaranteed to get the 7 pieces again, if you see what I mean. Whereas in the original system, it was completely random, which is not as fun, I don't think, as having the bag system. So yeah, I'll let it play. But I haven't got much more to add. Yeah, like I say, it is a decent version of Tetris, and it makes sense that they would have this as the pack-in game. But I'm not sure I will return to it all that often. If I want a Tetris fix, there are better ways to do it these days. I'll probably play some Tetris 99, and when the servers of that eventually go down, I can play Tetris Effect on my Steam Deck. But yeah, this is a solid entry. So stay tuned for more Chromatic videos from me. I've got 3 more games to review, but I've now got to spend the time and play them thoroughly before I can review them. Those will be more sort of edited videos, rather than this just sort of off the cuff recorded live one that I've done for Tetris. As this is a fairly simple game, and we all know what Tetris is, I thought I could just talk about it like this, but the other ones will be properly edited and scripted and everything. So yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know if you like the idea of this new series, and also me exploring the more legacy libraries of the Game Boy and Game Boy Color as well. But yeah, thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you on the next video.